When small business owner Gemma was given a $30,000 COVID grant from the government, it was a lifesaver and quickly used to keep her business afloat. But just weeks later, the government said there'd been a mistake and asked for almost all of it back. And she's not alone.
It's just like a punch in the guts. It's like, hang on a minute, that Chrissy present's gone back under the tree and rewrapped it. You know, it's just off.
2020 was among Gemma Tui's toughest years. Her winery and restaurant in Victoria's stunning Indigo Valley almost wiped out.
We would have easily have lost $100,000 in the last 12 months because we couldn't have business.
Unable to host weddings and other events, Gemma was over the moon when she was approved for a $30,000 government grant until this happened.
So they sent you this letter, Gemma?
They're advising me that it was that the fund had been successful, but unfortunately have identified that you've been overpaid $25,000.
The deadline? Less than a fortnight.
A sense of like, and if you don't do this right now, then you are in the naughty books. You've got a muck against you for keeps, and we'll check on you.
Having made only $800 last weekend, Gemma isn't sure where that $25,000 will come from. She's already used it to pay down debts and arrange much-needed improvements to her Watchbox cafe.
That, you know, that's not going to happen.
And then to receive an email to say, we've overpaid you, give back $5,000, it was absolutely heartbreaking.
Nearby at the Wodonga RSL, they're just as furious.
Our primary source of income for Veterans Welfare is Anzac Day, and then secondary to that is Remembrance Day. And in Victoria, we've lost both those events this year. So we've really struggled to make sure that we've come out the other end.
These tables have sat empty for most of the year. Committee members have even pulled thousands out of their own pockets to keep the lights on. Kate Chamberlain is the secretary.
When we were eligible for the licensed premises grants, we were absolutely elated. We made application to it and we're really pleased to receive that $20,000.
The RSL received the same letter of demand threatening no future grants if the money isn't transferred within 13 days.
We were astonished when we received the email to say that we needed to provide some of that money back.
And it's not your fault?
No.
So I'll go from not worrying about the future to, oops, we're a bit broke.
Jackie Hickens runs a cooking school and has to give every single cent back, or $20,000.
I'm sort of fortunate that I haven't spent all of the money, so some of it's still sitting in the bank and can be accessed quite easily. But it does mean my bank account goes from having money in it to it'll have $86 or something left in it at the end of the day.
Jackie, Kate and Gemma aren't alone. In fact, they're among 293 Victorian businesses in the same predicament. The government blames an administrative error and says it's sorry for the inconvenience.
It beggars belief that a government grant program could have so many businesses that are then deemed not eligible months after they receive the money.
Wes Lambert from the Restaurant and Catering Industry Association is appalled.
It is very important that the government re-looks at this, trying to claw back funds from the grant programs from businesses that may not have the ability to pay or through no fault of their own were paid extra with grant approvals.
This latest scandal follows revelations that, as at the end of last year, hospitality and entertainment businesses have received around only half the money offered by government grants.
Well, I say the government has completely and utterly botched the rollout of a lot of this business funding and support. On some funds, they've only rolled out 15% of the money. So businesses are burning, they're in deep trouble, they're having to lay off staff.
The Victorian opposition says it's been swamped with complaints about the scheme. Shadow Minister David Davis.
The government just needs to fix these problems. They need to roll the money out quickly so that businesses in need who qualify get the money instead of having to, go cap in hand begging for help.
Back in the Indigo Valley, Gemma is hoping for better days ahead. She's happy to repay the $25,000, but within a more reasonable time frame. The government told us repayment plans are now possible.
Did they give you that option?
Today. But
Only once it's hit the media?
Finally. Only once it's hit the media. We'll be all right because we've got each other and we'll do okay. It's still not right. It's just not right. And it's really not fair.
The Victorian Ombudsman received 750 complaints about the Business Support Fund and has since launched an investigation into how the government has dealt with the grant applications. The full statement's on our homepage.